All right, welcome and thank you for joining us here at Raven's Arcana. I am Raven, and today I wanted to continue our discussion that we were having on the Trivium and the Pythagorean Triangle and the 7 liberal arts and sciences. So we'll continue with the whiteboard just for a little recap here. So there's the Pythagorean triple or the Pythagorean triangle. You have the 5 senses, which are used to observe the arts and sciences. We went over the trivium, which was grammar, logic, and rhetoric. And now we're going to go over the quadrivium, which have become arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. So arithmetic, we have number in its purest form. We have geometry, number in space. We have music, number in time. We have astronomy, number in space and time. Now, if you're looking at the whiteboard, we have completely different words on there with the exception of music. So arithmetic, in place of that we have numerology. In the place of geometry, you have geomancy. Still have the music, we'll go into that in a second. And astronomy has been changed to astrology. What's the reason for that, you ask? That's because what I have written on the board are the original forms of the quadrivium. So instead of quantities, they are actually qualities. Why are they different? Because there's been systems of authority that have occulted, meaning they have removed that knowledge, hidden that knowledge from us. They have removed the metaphysical aspects, the philosophical aspects, the theories. So we do not ask questions. So we do not have all the knowledge. So we're given information. We accept that as fact. We use that in practical application. We use it in our conversations and teach that to our children, to our colleagues, to our friends. Now let's go into what the actual quadrivium means so we can talk about what's really going on here. So instead of arithmetic, instead of the quantities of numbers, we're just 1 and 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, so forth, so on. We're told to accept that as fact. There's no other quality associated. There's no other meaning. Let's go back to what number actually means and numerology. So numerology means that everything can be reduced down to a number, even words. Words are spelled based on the number correlation in the alphabet, the 26 letters. Those words can be reduced down to one number, and that has significance, that has meaning, that has a quality or a value, not just a quantity. This can be observed that, there's certain events that occur, there's certain releases of artwork, there's certain things that are planned based on a date in time. That date and time and the language that is used has a value. There's patterns in all numbers and everything is reduced down to number. Think about master numbers. 11. What does 11 mean? It means master intuitive. 22, master builder. 33, master teacher. We're not usually taught any of this. This knowledge is hidden. What about the power of 3 in language? That you usually have 3 words, 3 phrases, 3 sentences, 3 paragraphs, 3 episodes. The trilogy, it's very persuasive. It has a quality. It has a persuasive value. Think about the Fibonacci scale. How everything has the spiral pattern. Spiraling out. Inside of us, outside of us, our bodies, the universe, everywhere around us. Now then we'll jump into geomancy, which has been reduced down to geometry. Geometry is a valid science. However, geomancy means the divination by earth, or science of the sand. In ancient times, in ancient cultures, they would draw lines in the sand. You can do more research on this if you're interested. And based on the position of those lines, they could predict events. They could deduce situations. Now, astrology was derived from geomancy. Geomancy did not use any instrumentation or any in-depth calculations. Geomancy can also be observed in the form of natural structures. So natural occurrences meaning mountains, hills, rivers, valleys, and how the earth energy in those places on the planet affect not only nature and how things grow, but it affects us and beings that come into contact with those. And we can talk about how feng shui came out of geomancy. Feng shui is humans' adaptation of the earth energy into building structures such as cathedrals, temples, homes, based on ley lines. So there are ley lines that go around the earth that carry a certain energy. But people created these cathedrals, the temples in Egypt, based on ley lines, based on star patterns, and their orientation to celestial bodies, to capture energy, to magnify that energy. And it's nuts here that we're not told about any of this. And that can be translated into music theory. And I'm not talking about progression of chords. I'm not talking about notes and tones and the pentatonic scale when you're trying to solo in a blues song. I'm talking about, Kepler and his theory of music and spheres. That the planets, when they orbit around the sun, when they reach a certain point in their relationship to the sun, actually we will send off a vibration that correlates to a musical note. No one really talks about the 7 notes and how they correlate and correspond to 7 hermetic principles, the 7 stages of alchemy. Think about also how classical music and ancient music and even new music is composed based on sacred geometry and based on the geomancy of a temple, of a cathedral. So there's actually classical compositions that match the exact geometric angles in cathedrals that mirror that magnify the energy so you can raise vibrations and connect spiritually. They did that in the temples in Egypt. A lot of the temples were rounded on the inside, had the angles on the outside, so the music would spin around, but the composition was that it matched the outside, matched the alignment of the stars. So you essentially created a portal, if you want to call it that, of spirituality, that you can access knowledge, you can access Akashic records. It enables you to open up and access that energy. Think about line dancing, if you will, or the way dances were created. Certain steps, certain movements. You are dancing, moving, creating sacred geometry on the ground, essentially creating a sigil that holds energy, that holds power. And then we'll end up with astrology that has been ridiculed, demonized, and changed to astronomy, cosmology. But astrology is a science. Astrology can predict events. Those who doubt that, and those who doubt that there's no impact on us as humans on the earth based on the position in the sky of celestial objects, planets, stars, what have you. Look at moon tides. Look at the position of the moon to that of the earth. And on certain coastlines, tides go out over a mile. We are water beings in this existence. You don't think that relationship to the sky and forces and positions that can move oceans have zero effect on us? That's ridiculous. And all this has been ridiculed. It has all been occulted, so we don't have the answers. So we're not able to make our own decisions. So we don't have true knowledge and actually be divine beings. We rely on somebody else to tell us how to be, how to act, what to learn, what is fact. And I just think we need to dive into all of this information and share this information with each other. So I just wanted to go over that for a little bit. As always, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us here. If you like the video, please give us a like. If you dig the channel, give us a subscribe. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.